Welcome to Game Crunch, your weekly video game podcast. My name is Mike Anastasia. With me today we got Brandon.
Yo.
We were talking about games and things.
It is me. I'm games and things.
Nothing wild this week.
No, I've been playing the same game, basically.
Yeah, so probably nothing too crazy. I have a new game, but it's not new game. It's a new old game. But we'll talk about things. So, I mean, I guess I'll go first because we've both really been playing some of the same things. So, I did put more time in Vampire Crawlers. I'm guessing you probably finished it up by now.
No, I didn't actually go back to it because I
No.
focused a lot more on other things.
Yeah, so I ended up making a bit of progress, and I kind of realized actually after we talked last week. So, the one character you're like, oh, I like using this character. I did not have them unlocked, and I did have no clue who you were talking about.
Okay.
And so as I'm like, that's weird because I'm like, Brandon seemed pretty confident that I should know who this character is, and that's when I realized I finished almost no levels.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Which was probably some of the reason why I was having some more issues with it. You don't really think about it in a game like this, but a lot of the stuff that you unlock really does give you an advantage in terms of longevity in the game is probably how I would describe it. It doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to be around longer, but extra health, having bigger card draws, more armor, more mana, those all make big differences. And so just by going through and kind of finishing up the stuff that I had not realized I had not finished made a huge difference. So I'm like, wow, this is like almost an entirely different game suddenly. So that was kind of a nice change there. So I got a lot more time done in that. Apparently what I would think I was doing was I was getting really close to the end of the levels, and then I would lose, but another level would unlock in the process. So I just never really realized that I was missing something. And the game really doesn't do anything to point out to you that you had not completed aside from the unlock thing. Because you can't really tell from the stage select what you finished and what you have not, only
That's
if you've
true.
gotten the unlock in the stages. So I was getting the unlocks in the stages that were there, but not completing them. So it was strange. But game is still a lot of fun. I had a lot more enjoyment with it the last week. It's kind of nice. In that regard. So still having a lot of fun with it. I definitely still have, even at this point, I still have more to do than you were, but I think I only have like maybe 30 achievements or less at this point.
Oh, nice. I have
so
4.
so yeah, not quite to where you are, but still a lot there. Most of mine too, I think, are either just kind of random, like beat this stage with this character, kind of things. I really don't have that much more to say on it. Yeah, I'm just still plugging away on it. So that will be one of those things. I'll get there, get some more done eventually, but just still kind of working through it as I go.
Yeah, I said I had 4 achievements left. Yeah, 4 achievements left.
Yeah,
I remember
that's
that.
not bad. Yeah.
I'm almost done.
Yeah, like I said, I think I have about 30 left, and most of mine are like either unlocking other doing certain things with certain characters, or some of them are just kind of like use.
So since you actually finished it, you'll probably have an easier time since you can put like 3 characters together now. Like, you got that right?
Uh-oh. What are you talking about?
You said you beat the game, right? Like, you saw the credits?
No.
Okay.
I've not even gotten to the last area yet.
Oh, what stage are you on?
The third bridge.
Oh, never mind then.
Yeah, so I have no clue what you're talking about. I'm sure there's probably still some more things to unlock.
Yeah, I stopped talking about it because of that.
Okay. Yeah, so yeah, don't have that yet, but hey, well, I guess it's something I can look forward to, whatever that is. But yeah, I mean, the game's a lot of fun, so there's that. Definitely makes a difference, like I said, as you go on and unlock more things, and things start to make more sense. And some of the things I even asked you about made more sense, even kind of as I had gone through.
Yeah,
and gotten some more things to unlock.
Game kind of explains that as you go further in.
Not really explains, but it just kind of forces you to realize some of the stuff. Yeah. Like, because I actually got for example, like when I was asking about the wild card things last time, subsequently, like I think maybe like the exact next game that I played, I ended up getting a gem that unlocked wilds. So then I started putting those on cards, and I'm like, oh, okay, this makes a lot more sense now. I got it. Because then I was just starting to be able to chain things kind of like indefinitely, which made a big difference. And I just didn't have those abilities kind of before. And the gems really do change things up a considerable amount. depending on what you're lucky enough to get there. So yeah, TBD. I'm sure, like I said, I'm sure there will be more updates on that later. The other thing that I played, this one's kind of a surprise. I had threatened to get this game for a long time, and I finally did it. It's a game I know you've played before, but I don't think you've beaten it.
Okay, what's that?
Astral Chain. So.
Oh yeah, I have not, because that game ran like ass on the original Switch. I probably should reinstall it on Switch 2 and see if it runs better.
Yeah, I don't know how it is. I mean, I've only gotten through kind of the first 2 chapters. I think that's how they break them down here. I mean, I would say honestly, visually, like I like the art style that they went with from this game, and the frame rates and stuff seem pretty stable from the first 2 areas. I don't know how consistent like the graphical issues were that you had before, but it definitely was not what I expected in some ways.
It was frame rate. It was 100% frame rate that was the issue on Switch 1.
So. Well, I know that was the issue. I just don't remember if it was the entire game or if it was just certain sections.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. Like I said, at least from the parts that I've been in, I mean, it seemed really, really stable.
That's good.
So, I mean, that stuff is good. But I definitely, I kind of mentally earmarked areas. I'm like, well, I could see this one being an issue. And I'm like, I could see this one being an issue.
When there's a lot of fire and particle effects, that's
yes.
That's when it's an issue.
Fire, particle effects. And obviously they're using some graphical shaders. I'm sure those probably have an effect on there as well.
Not as much unless you're like super up close. Like, you know,
oh, okay.
Like walk into a wall where you can see like your whole character model up close, that kind of thing. That you can force that sort of thing, but it's not there.
Not generally on the there and there.
Yeah.
What was I gonna say? Yeah, the game's not quite what I expected though, because it's if you remember, it's got kind of more not like open world mission structure, but kind of more of an open mission structure, I guess is probably a better way to put it, where it's not like Bayonetta or like Wonderful 101 where you're like, hey, here's your mission, and you start and then a finish. It's kind of more like, okay, well, now we're going to put you into this world. And it does kind of have a progression, but it's not necessarily like just always moving forward. Like there's things you can do. You can go do training. You can go to the base. You can do upgrades and things like that. So that's kind of nice. So, I mean, the missions are kind of a bit longer. I mean, this game, you know, comparatively, I guess just to complete, it's usually about 20 hours is what I had been reading. So I was like, oh, geez, this is a lot more of a sync than I expected it to be. But they'll keep you busy for a little while. So I needed something that at least gave me some goals to kind of progress through, which is kind of why I picked it up. So, and also, too, because it's so rare to see it on sale. So, yeah, because I knew I probably wouldn't get, you know, the full value out of it, but at a discount price, definitely a little bit more enjoyable. But I mean, I've been enjoying it so far from what's there. So it's kind of that, you know, action gameplay. I mean, it's kind of Bayonetta, Devil May Cry-esque, although I don't know if it's as technical. I don't know what your thoughts were on it.
I think that the actual combat of it in later parts can get a lot more technical, but that's actually like more technical than Bayonetta because of the fact that you are like chained to what you're actually fighting with, and it's not the character. It's more of the character giving commands to the other entity, which I guess I don't remember what they were. Are they just called astrals, or are they called something else?
They can either call them like legions.
Oh, legions. That's probably it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because they give you like a funny name like Legionnaires or something. I don't remember.
Oh, that's 100%. You're right.
Yeah,
that's I know what you're talking about now. Yeah, I think that makes the gameplay be a bit more technical as you get later in the game. Like,
yeah,
it's not
and I
like
would even
technical in the sense of like Bayonetta, where it's like a character action game. It's technical in the sense where like it's very different from like your Bayonettas and other things, where you actually have to like kind of plan out the way you're gonna issue your commands and whatnot for your Legionnaire.
Yeah, and it seems like, at least from what I have played so far, it definitely seems like there's a lot of abilities and kind of different things that unlock as you progress. Because I would even say, you know, just kind of my fighting style from chapter 1 to chapter 2 has already changed just from the things that are there now that are available. Because there's like, you can do chains and you can do some of the things, and even too, kind of what you're saying, you know, you can do some technical things there too, which are kind of cool. Like you can use your chain to basically like catapult the enemy in the opposite direction if they're running at you, or you can, you know, wrap your characters around them to kind of I don't know, tie them down or slow them down for a little bit. So you use those chains. I thought it was an interesting kind of usage of it. It seems like there's different forms that your legion can take to kind of give you different abilities as you progress through.
Mm-hmm.
So I like the stuff that's there. Like I said, I was surprised. I'm like, oh, this game, at least from a story and visual perspective, definitely a lot more charming than I was expecting it to be. Um, I'm still really early. Like I said, I'm only like 2 chapters in. It looks like there's about 12, so I have a lot more to do with it. But that's kind of where I am right now. So I'll be playing a bit of that, through this week, and then next week Indiana Jones comes out. So then I'll have that to kind of play through and talk about too. Um, so those are kind of the big things that I've been playing. I did see though, it looks like they're starting to do maybe more like preview stuff for Indiana Jones. So there's been a lot more footage of it running on the Switch too. And I think it looks
Oh, that's
pretty good.
awesome.
So it looks like the frame rate's pretty solid. I did see Nintendo Life had done a little preview, and Alex seemed really happy with it. He's like, I love the other game. He's like, I think this runs pretty solid on the Switch too. So interesting to see what Digital Foundry or someone says down the road when they're doing kind of more of a technical comparison. But at least from what I saw, it definitely more than suitable enough for what I'm looking for. So I'm very happy. So I'm
Okay.
very excited about that. So
Nice.
yeah. But otherwise, those are, I think, the big things I had to talk about this week so far.
All right.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing Saros, a lot of
Mhm.
Saros actually. In fact, I think I'm pretty far along, like almost done with it. And I've got some thoughts.
Yeah.
All right, so it's a game that's kind of at odds with itself.
Uh-huh.
Whereas I played Returnal right before Saros, when I was playing Returnal, the upgrades and add-ons and stuff you could get as you continued and progressed in the game actually felt like they made a major difference and made sense in the way they were laid out.
Mhm.
Saros doesn't feel that way, like,
Okay.
at all. I could not tell you the reason I would take one thing over another in Saros to save my life. So I've kind of just defaulted to larger number, big number, go up, be good as my playstyle, because the rest of the stuff doesn't seem to flow as well as it did in Returnal, and it
Mhm.
seems very. At times, it seems like the the power up system, like the add on system and the stuff you can pick up that give you pluses or minuses, it feels like it's just broken and it doesn't even work because it doesn't
Wow.
feel like there's a difference whatsoever. So I just
Mhm.
go for guns that have bigger numbers, and I go for raising the numbers of my other attributes, and that's it. That's how I play Saros, which is very different from Returnal, because Returnal I actually thought about the items I was grabbing and if I wanted to do this, that, and the other with my character. And this, it just doesn't feel like it responds the same way I want it to. That being said, I do like the actual gunplay aspect and the way they have like kind of simplified, but the actual act of playing the game in a way that
Mhm.
makes sense. I like that, but it has 100% made this game way easier. Just way, way, way easier. This game is a walk in the park compared to Returnal, and that's before you even turn on what is known as the balancing scales. And I'll explain that now because those are kind of weird.
Okay.
So there's a scale system where you could turn on perks, but depending on how powerful the perk is, you also have to turn on negative effects for yourself as well to balance
Okay.
it out and keep it in the middle and not let one thing of the scale tip the other thing. Otherwise, you can't start with those perks. So essentially, there might be a perk that's like, hey, you have 2 respawns, but that's going to take 10 points, which means you need to give yourself like 4 different negative perks to balance out that one single positive one.
Mhm.
So it's kind of like a little balancing act there, and that's why I also think that the respawning twice perk, even though it sounds cool, is actually just it's 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 a it's worthless, and you
Mhm.
should take some of the other perks instead, like giving yourself more damage and upgrading that so that you just do a shit ton more damage, and then just brute forcing everything with more damage and winning the game, because that's essentially how you can win. It does take skill, obviously, to dodge the bullets and shield at the right time and yada yada yada, blah blah blah. But after playing Returnal and then playing this, this is just a significantly better and worse version of Returnal in a lot of different ways.
Okay.
So, like, UI and, like, the approachability and being able to play it and more people being able to play this game, better. The
Okay.
story,
That's good.
absolutely dog shit. The story is just garbage. Like, and I haven't even got to the part where most people said they tapped out of the game and they completely quit because of the plot line. So I don't know what that plot line is, but I know there is some point where people said the plot got so bad they actually quit the game.
Oh, jeez.
So there's that. But I've seen a lot of, oh no, the people that were on an expedition before me that gone missing, gotta go find them. I found them. Uh-oh, they gone cuckoo crazy. Uh-oh, better bring them back to the place. I brought them back to the place. Uh-oh, they went cuckoo crazy and killed people. Probably shouldn't have done that, but I didn't have the option not to. Uh-oh, not a good idea. Oh well, too bad. Now those people are dead. Haha, hee hee. You know, and then seeing more and more people lose their shit until no one is left and everyone is dead except you. And then it's just like, okay, now I'm just stuck here in my own thoughts while chasing after either his girlfriend or wife. I want to say it was his wife, but I'm not 100% sure. And when you do find her, which you do, then the game's like, okay, now here's new plot point. Go and it's just like, wait, why? And it's stupid. It's really not good. Like, it's not good writing. But the gameplay is really fun and is what keeps you coming back. But the writing is just kind of there. Like, it's very, very basic, but also I know I've read some things, and I've been trying to avoid spoilers, but I've read some things where there's apparently a twist, and the twist is like, why did we do this? I'm not gonna say it because I don't fully understand it yet because I haven't run into it myself, but I'm already starting to see the pieces fall in line. And if this is the route they're going, first of all, this is a first for any video game I've ever seen. Second of all, it should also be a last for any video game I've ever seen to do this because it's really fucking stupid. And I'll tell you off camera because I have an idea of where we're going. And it's kind of crazy that that's the plot point in this AAA video game, but sure, I guess. So yeah, there's that. Game's good. Game's fun. I don't think it's as good as Returnal, and I don't think I'm changing my mind either. In fact, I might change my mind in the opposite direction and find it to be worse than Returnal.
So right now you're just kind of more like maybe they're equal.
No, absolutely not. It's like Returnal's like 9 or 10 out of 10. This is like an 8, maybe.
Oh, so you already think it's worse than Returnal? But
Oh yeah, no,
worse.
Oh yeah, I think it may be even worse. Like,
okay,
yeah, I think it may get even worse than Returnal. Not that it's going to get better.
Okay,
I think it may only get
or
worse.
Equal to, but only worse.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, all right. Well, that sucks.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah.
So, but that is what it is. That is a thing. But NT, that's the other game I played. I actually feel pretty strongly about this game. But there's some caveats with it. We don't have 100% confirmation, but some people do think some of the billboards and stuff in this game is using AI.
Okay.
So that is something to let be known first and foremost. And I have some thoughts on that. I didn't pay for this game, so I kind of don't care.
Fair.
Because it's free to play. So it is what it is. Also, the developers did contract artists to do a bunch of artwork and stuff for the game before launch and paid them and stuff. So for one tiny aspect of the game to have something like that, I think it's whatever. I don't like it, but also I don't think it's something worth boycotting the entire game over.
Fair.
Especially since it's not a paid game. It's a free-to-play game. So
yeah,
I don't really care. But that being said, this game has a lot of shit in it to be a free to play game. Like a lot of crazy shit.
Like good shit,
Oh
bad
yeah,
shit.
yeah, yeah,
Okay.
yeah, 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 yeah. So I'm actually gonna pull up the game and I'm gonna pull up some of the things that can be done in the game. And I'll show it to you too, real quick, so you could see it in real time.
Okay.
So I'm gonna do that because it's easier to explain all the things by doing this than it is to just try to go over them all in my head.
Hmm.
So there are multiple different. Let's see, what's the best way to say this? Not like mini games. They're kind of like full on games inside the game.
Okay.
And there's, as I mentioned before, there's like street racing and stuff. I mentioned that last week, but I did not know how far this rabbit hole went. So I'm going to show you, for instance. So here are some of the hobbies. There's city delivery, where you pick up packages and deliver them to places, sort of like a crazy taxi sort of thing, but instead of it being people, it's packages. There's the
Hmm.
illegal street races that I told you. There's an entire ownership minigame where you buy properties and you put people to work at your properties, and different characters that you get have different abilities, like causing the customers to spend more money or to spend more time in your properties that you've bought. There's
Hmm.
an entire like taxi driver minigame, which is literally Crazy Taxi. There's a whole game about fishing. There's a really bad version of Tetris, which we don't have to talk about that. There's a version of Mahjong. I think I said that right. But anyway, yeah. And then there's a whole nother game that is a heist game where you and multiple friends, I believe it's 4, can go in and rob a bank, and you can get up to $1 million in game to buy items and stuff in order a week, essentially, or every 2 weeks, it seems, at least right now. Other than that, there's also things like there are all these different properties that like that you can go into and explore and stuff. There's all these
Hmm.
different places you can buy other things, and essentially, as you can see right now, it is kind of like a Grand Theft Auto like screen with all the stuff you can do in this game, in this free to play game. You can like walk into dealerships and buy like cars and stuff. You could
Okay.
test drive them before you buy them. You can
Nice.
steal cars from people out on the street if you need to, or you could swap to one of the police officer characters that you will start with, and you can requisition cars without the need for having to lose. Gain wanted level or anything like that. There's a lot of stuff here, and that's not even getting into like the main game, which has like its own story mode, which is all kind of, it is what it is. But there's also like a whole first person mode where you can go into first person and explore the entire map in first person. This is a lot of stuff for a free to play game, is what I'm trying to say. Like you
Yeah.
could buy and own property, you can buy and own vehicles. Like I found this one vehicle that was a motorcycle. As you can see right now, I'm driving it.
Yeah.
It's got the Ghost Rider flames coming out from behind it, because I hunted down and found a guy who was like Ghost Rider, essentially, and he appears randomly on the map, and if you defeat him, then you will get his weapon, and you can equip his weapon to one of your characters, and then when they ride on the bike and drive around town, your bike spits out like the Ghost Rider flames. There's so many things like that. There's also so many references to other properties. For instance, one of my favorite old school animes is Initial D. There's an entire quest line about a guy who used to be a really, really good drift racer that now owns a tofu shop, which is just the plot of Initial D.
Hmm.
And it's like a little nudge, nudge, hint, hint, wink, wink sort of thing. And as you can also see what I'm showing you right now, this entire game is fully open world. Like there's no loading screens, there's no nothing. I'm just driving around and experiencing things, and like I just ran into someone that's committing a crime that I could beat the shit out of, basically. And then I get upgrades based off of doing that. You can protect people, you can hurt people, you could, the usual sort of thing that
Yeah.
you could in those kind of games. But yeah, it's very good, and it's very high quality for a free to play game. Like it's crazy high quality. There's so much to do and there's so much to see. And I've actually been having like a blast, like raising my level, raising my characters, getting new characters. The story's been pretty mid, to be completely honest. But sometimes that is how these kind of games start out.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. So I also had like a part in the story where I went and had to bid on an auction, and like the entire portion of that, the bidding was a mix between Phoenix Wright, Persona 5, and Pokemon, where we would try to make other people angry so they would bid it up because we didn't actually want the item and we wanted to stick them with the really expensive item so they wouldn't be able to bid on later items. So you had that whole thing going on as well. And it's silly and it's really fun, and the entire game's fucking free to play with this much content and this much stuff to do, and it's honestly very, very impressive for what it is. So I like it. I like it quite a lot, and I've been like logging in to do things every day, like use my energy, which allows me to like either fight specific bosses that are like world bosses, or use it for like my fishing game so that I can make some money off of fishing and raise that rank up some more, or do it for illegal street races, or so on and so forth. I've mentioned a few of the things that you can do in this now. And now, since I'm like high enough level, I've also been doing the bank heist, which is just an absolute blast to play with friends. You go through a bank, and it's like several different underground floors and everything, and you keep just trying to loot items from inside of like boxes or safes or other such things, while you're having to fight anomalies that are set up to protect the bank, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
And what they do is they will have a kind of walking path like you would have in something like Metal Gear Solid or whatever, and you have to avoid them, or you could just outright fight them. But since you're on a timer for how much you could steal inside the bank, you kind of just want to get that stuff done as fast as possible. So you do want to avoid them, or you do want to like dash through them and get around them so that you can. I mean, I've still been driving in the same map the whole time, like no loading screens, as you can see. It's
Yeah.
crazy how big this game is.
Honestly, the map kind of reminds me of Cyberpunk, believe it or not.
It's got a very cyberpunk / Grand Theft Auto feel to it.
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy how big the map is and how much stuff there is to do just in the game itself. So yeah, that's what I've been playing. I've been playing that for a little while now, and well, pretty much since the launch. I've been checking in every day and exploring the world and raising my level so I can do more stuff. It's really good. It's really fun.
Yeah, it looks like it would be a lot of fun, and I definitely can see those kind of comparisons with it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. You think it's going to keep you busy for a while?
At least until the next update. And I mean, that's kind of how free to play games work.
Yeah,
they have those updates that come out, So as long as they have updates coming out often, then yeah, probably.
Okay. Very good.
Moving on from that, I will say, do you have anything else you want to talk about game-wise that you played?
No.
Okay. Then let's move over to something I wanted to talk about in the news.
Okay.
It's Grand Theft Auto.
What's that?
Bank of America, that place, the fucking actual bank, claims that GTA needs to be sold at $80.
Oh, yeah?
To push the rest of the industry to selling games at a higher price point. And
I had not seen this.
Bro, what the fuck? Shut up.
Why is Bank of America weighing in on this?
That's a great question. I don't even know.
Yeah, like why do they have any business with what things are selling for in this industry? I don't know.
Yeah, Bank of America says it's in Take-Two's self-interest as a publisher and partner to many developers to raise the price point for the entire industry by making Grand Theft Auto an $80 video game.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they probably will.
Yeah, I feel like they will too. But it's crazy that we have Bank of America stepping in to say this shit. Like, what the hell are you thinking?
Yeah, Bank of America, you got no place being there.
Yeah, like, who invited this guy? Like, no one invited you, Bank of America. Get the fuck out. I think it's in Bank of America's best interest to shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
We are in a new recession, and I don't think $80 games is good for anyone, to be completely honest, like changing the industry fully to it. I know people will pay for it with GTA, but it will sell a lot less. And also, that leads to another thing about GTA 6. Essentially, what was reported in an interview is if GTA 6 sells 10 million copies, it's still a failure.
Probably.
So I don't think you're gonna sell your 10 million copies at that. I mean, more, a large portion as much as they would if they just kept it at 70. If they keep it at 70, like the normal price, I do think that they will sell so many copies that they will be again good, and they won't have to make another game for at least another 20 years. So there's that. But I just think it's wild that now it feels like all these entities, these like banking companies and these other people are stepping in, these people that are professionals in the industry, and being like, yeah, you need to make your game more expensive. And it makes me think, like, do you think, like, there's a possibility that Rockstar's telling them no, and that's the reason why they're doing this?
Could be. That's definitely a possibility. Or maybe they're loaning Take-Two some money, and this is their way of being like, hey, we don't think your plan's working well. We think you need to sell it for more if you want to pay us back. I mean, I'm guessing they must have some interest somewhere, whether or not it's with Grand Theft Auto specifically, which it may not be. I mean, that's a really easy target, and it's something kind of easy to jump on without drawing attention to whatever you're trying to draw attention to. So I don't know, but I definitely could see them going to 80, because that's what Mario Kart was, right? Mario Kart World was 80.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, yeah, I can see them going that way. I mean, I don't know if it
And I'm
did
gonna be
really well
real,
for Nintendo.
I don't
But
think Mario Kart World was worth 80. Just saying, I don't think it was worth 80.
I mean, I think 80 is going to be a hard sell for most people, and obviously, people are going to. I know we talk about this, from time to time. People are going to find their own value in things, and there's definitely going to be some people who are going to be very happy with it at 80. But there's definitely going to be a lot of people who are going to be like, no, wait for it to go down, because even think about it, at $80, a sale to 60 is not unreasonable, which is kind of crazy to think about. Be like, oh yeah, this game's on sale for $60, hot deal.
Yeah, that's kind of wild to think about.
I
It's
know,
on
but
sale for 60. That's crazy.
but I definitely can see that being, kind of where things are. I mean, even I feel like too, as much as, one thing that I think has been, and you may disagree with me on this, but I don't necessarily think I'm wrong on this. But I do think that one thing that has been kind of difficult for the industry, kind of on the other side, is like some of the really extreme sales that game companies let themselves get into. Because I think on the flip side, I think it does also kind of diminish what people expect cost wise on the other side of things too.
I don't think we've seen those extreme sales on the level that we used to in at least like 4 years since the pandemic. I'm gonna be 100% honest.
Yeah, I mean, I have not
Looking
seen
at Steam sales, you know how much I would camp Steam sales before. I
Oh
don't give
yeah,
a fuck anymore. It doesn't matter. They're not
no,
good anymore. And
yeah.
it's
I
the
mean,
same with a lot of gaming sales on, like, Amazon or Xbox or PlayStation. They're just not as good as they used to be. So
yeah, you generally don't see, like, I mean, I think Cyberpunk, aside from like the accidental
oh yeah, the
Switch
glitch.
discount,
Oh yeah.
I think they were trying to keep their price about $40.
Mm-hmm.
Seemed to be kind of what they were considering, at least for the complete edition. I don't know about maybe the subs, like, individually, but probably the complete edition, it seemed like they were trying to keep that at $40.
Well, the complete edition on is the only one that exists on Switch too.
No, I know it's the only one that's on Switch, but I'm saying just in general, I've not seen the complete edition go for cheaper anywhere else.
I want to say I saw it for 30 on PlayStation 5 at one point, but I also want to say that was like 2023, if I'm not mistaken, or maybe no, it had to be 2024. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure. I think I've seen it for 30 somewhere before, but I don't know.
Oh, let's see. Da. So for the base game, the lowest Steam price, at least from this website, was $20.99. Let's see. There's got to be another one here. Where is it?
There's a site called Is There Any Deal? And sometimes they show you the price points that things have been sold at and where at. So I'm going to check that. Okay, so lowest price point that that it's ever been sold at on PC at the very least is $37.24 for the complete edition.
Okay.
So I guess maybe it was like somewhere else I saw it. Maybe it was a physical version. I don't know.
Yeah, very possibly.
But you're right. Yeah, it hasn't been cheaper than that on Steam. And again, that kind of proves my point. I don't think these sales have been anywhere near as big as they were pre-pandemic. I think pre-pandemic sales were crazy sometimes. And then you look at sales that we have now and they're just, yeah, all right, maybe like
yeah,
$5-10 off something, you know.
they're much more tame, especially for new
Yeah.
releases. Older stuff you can still get like really significant discounts on for sure.
Oh, yeah, of course. Especially when you have something like a sequel announced or something.
Yeah.
They'll
They'll
like we just saw with Metro.
Yeah, slash that down so you can do the other things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you'll see things like that, but yeah, I agree with you. Definitely not like they had been on that side of things. But
so I guess I changed your mind then, because you said that people were having major sales, which was causing, like some problem also in the industry.
Oh, no, it doesn't change my mind.
I thought
it does not change my mind in that regard. I'm just saying I think that when you have those kind of really, because a lot of people will wait for those kind of games just to plummet down to those prices. And I think that makes them more hesitant to spend more. Really, what I was getting at is because we have been known to see games at that prices, even if they don't regularly go there as often as much. People will still wait for them and they'll hold out for the those kind of those things. And really, it kind of depends on where your threshold is, and I think too that threshold changes over time.
I actually have a theory about that as well. I don't think it's necessarily because of the past price points that we saw them at now that we see people waiting for them to go that low.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's because of just where the world is right now when it comes to its financial crisis, especially in the US.
I mean, that could be a lot of it too, for sure. I mean, I'm not saying there's lots of reasons why people may not buy a game for full price. Mm-hmm. So, I mean, I definitely don't think that's kind of one thing that's. I'm not trying to say that this is the singular reason why people are not.
No, I understand.
I'm just saying that I think
there's more reasons than just what you were listing. That's all.
There's plenty of reasons why people may not buy a game for full price or $80.
And then they've also been burned. So many times people have bought games for their $70 that they felt burned by paying $70 for a game, and they're not gonna do it again. Then they're gonna wait for it to go lower.
Yeah, exactly. Everyone always, like, we talk about this all the time. Everyone has their kind of threshold for prices. Some of it makes sense and some of it doesn't make sense. Some people will be like, oh, I want this kind of dollar to hour ratio. Some people, like kind of like what I was just saying with Astral Chain.
I think that's really harmed the industry, though. To be completely honest, that
dollar to
content ratio, because you have people just pumping bullshit into games like Ubisoft to try to get that dollar to hour ratio and get people to spend that money on their games, and it's not quality content. It's just garbage.
Just filler. Yeah. You don't necessarily need filler, but I know I agree with that. But I'm just saying, I think we're always going though, kind of originally with this is I think that on the flip side, really, and I think you see it kind of actually. I think the most egregious one of this is Ubisoft. Actually, speaking
100%.
With when you have those new titles that are dropped down so dramatically within the first year. Even if it's just a temporary sale, it does make people a lot more hesitant to do it. And while I do agree with you, the sales are not as steep as they used to be. Sales still do exist. So
I do think we have to look at Ubisoft though as well. The fact that the company's almost gone bankrupt 3 times in the last 2 years as a point, probably a point of reason for them having those sales go so quickly to try to make as much money as humanly possible off of people so that they can continue to stay afloat and not be bankrupt. You know what I'm saying?
It's been going on it's been more than a few years. Ubisoft's been doing it for a long time. Like, there's stuff you pretty much almost could consistently just bank on. Like, hey, if you can make it to Black Friday, you'll get it for dirt cheap. And I know even too, like, what was it? Mario and Rabbids, whatever the second one is. I remember I pre-ordered it, or I was thinking about pre-ordering it.
I mean, that happens with racing games too, but that doesn't mean anything. I don't know why. I think there's some genres that just do that.
Sports games are more likely to do it because
Yeah.
there's the regular sequels, kind of like what you were talking about, and that's also the problem with Ubisoft. Probably why you see it more is because it's like, it's not just that there's one more Assassin's Creed this in the next year. There's like four more,
Yeah.
so they have to kind of clear it out. But I know with Mario's and Rabbids, I remember I ended up, kind of caving to the fact that I'm like, oh, I'll get the gold edition because I'm like, I'll go through and play it. I still have not played any of that fucking DLC. I paid $90 for the game, and it was down to like $20 by Black Friday if I had waited like 2 months. So
Yeah, you're right. Ubisoft does do that a lot. Like I remember,
yeah,
because what was it? Shadows, Assassin's Creed Shadows was like $30, during Black Friday or something like that.
yeah.
So
But when you see those kind of deals, even if it's not every publisher everywhere, it does kind of get you trained to be like, well, this is a game where I don't necessarily need it day one, and maybe I want a little cheaper. I can wait and kind of see what they're gonna do price wise.
yeah, I think that's true. I think
Yeah.
that's true.
So
I do think there's some people that don't do that. Quite a
no,
few
there's definitely
people
people that
do
don't,
that.
and like I said, it definitely depends on the game. Like I, for example, probably would not do that with say a Legend of Zelda game, but like I said, there's some other stuff where I do like it, and I'm like, well, I'll just wait until, kind of there, or even kind of like what I talked about with Pragmata as it was coming up, and I was like, oh, I really like the demo, but I want to see what the reviews say, and then I was like, oh, the reviews are pretty good, and that's kind of what ended up kind of pushing me over the fence to buy it because originally my plan was like, hey, I like the demo. I'm like, depending on where the reviews are, if they're more middling, I'll wait for it to go on sale and I'll pick it up that way. But then the reviews were really good, and I'm like, I feel like I'm missing out, so I'm like, I'll buy it now at full price. I don't know. I feel like I have these kind of discussions with myself all the time with games. Be like, well, I really like this genre. I know I'm going to put a lot of time into it, so I'm like, I'm okay
Yeah.
buying it right away. Or something like Astral Chain, where I'm like, this genre is kind of middle of the road for me. Sometimes I really like it. Sometimes I don't. I know I'm not going to get $60 of enjoyment out of it.
Even further though. Like if you think about it, like for instance, for me, if I see a game that's like a PS4 or like a Switch game and not a specifically PS5 or Switch 2 game, I'll wait for that to go on sale. It doesn't become a big I need this now unless it's like something like, for instance, Katamari, which I love Katamari.
Yeah.
I bought that instantly, but it was also only $40. So it's way easier to just snap that up. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
I think the $40 price point right now is where you can get some of the best value for games currently. Because you'll see a lot of games launch at that $40 price point, and they're good fucking games. So like,
Yeah, I think $40 is kind of the new secret sweet spot for games that are not quite AAA. But not like indie either. Like it's a nice kind of, hey, you're not risking too much to do.
That's the $30 price point. You look at something like Mouse PI that just launched. You look at something like Bomb Rush Cyberpunk that launched a few years ago and has a sequel coming out. That $30 price point for those like in between games where it's like they're kind of indie, but they're indie in a sense that like a lot of work went into them, and they got a lot of backing and like a lot of attention. I think that's that price point now where those go. You see it with other things like Luminous Arise launched at $40, and that was just instantly. That's I think there's a lot of games releasing at the $30 and $40 price point that is like the sweet spot for those kinds of games.
Yeah, I think we'll see a lot more there. So
I saw people complaining about Resident Evil Requiem. Like,
oh, really?
Actually complaining. I got like 12 hours out of this game and I paid $70. And it's like, yeah, but you got like 12 really good hours out of the game for $70, you dipshit. It doesn't need to be an open world 100+ hour game where 50 hours of it is nothing but filler. It's like, come on. Exactly. Don't be stupid.
Yeah, it all depends on what you're gonna get for it and what you're it's like people complain about it too, but it's like you didn't know what you were getting. Like Resident Evil games have been about the same type of game with the same length for like 30 years. Like,
and you've always been able to finish them in like an hour or two if you speed run them. So like anyone that tries to point at the speed running ability and be like, yeah, well, I beat it and shut the fuck up. Like, shut up. Just shut up.
But also too, kind of the other side where they're like, well, Resident Evil 1 was $60 when it came out, and now Resident Evil Requiem is like, I don't know, 70 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Counterpoint to that though is like, yeah, like this why is it more expensive than it was, even though it's the same length of game? Yeah, but it's because the staff that made the game, it's tripled. Like, look at the difference in graphics. Like, there's a huge difference there. Requiem in some places looks almost like a movie, and yeah, the original one looks great with its pre-rendered backgrounds, but they're pre-rendered backgrounds. Like, they're not modeling everything. Like, there's lots of differences there.
I actually think a lot of the older Resident Evils are more impressive than the newer ones. And I don't mean that because of like, oh, they look better. I just mean like what they were able to do with the time that they made those games during and what they were able to do, like that sort of thing. Like you look at something like, you look at any game coming out right now. If it's using Unreal Engine, if it's using a good engine, you're gonna have those very realistic looking games. You've seen it with things like Horizon Zero Dawn. You've seen it things like Death Stranding 1 and 2. You've seen it like it's more impressive that in the 90s they were able to do something like being able to even like smash those games onto a disc with how much space it had on the disc that they were putting it on in the first place. It's more impressive that they were able to pull off what they were with the pre-rendered graphics and making that game look as good as it did, because you can still look at some of those things and be like, wait a minute, that's kind of like really nice. What the hell? That still looks kind of really good even in modern times. And then you look at some other games and you're like, that does not look good, like Final Fantasy VII. But Resident Evil has always looked good, to be completely honest. And it's very impressive how they were able to pull that off back in the day.
Yeah, and I think honestly too, I mean, I think some of those technical limitations actually made them be more creative. And I actually think that's one thing I was just thinking about while you were talking about it. I'm like, we really don't have those technical limitations anymore. So I think it
Yes.
actually kind of stifles creativity a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that.
Kind of the opposite conversation of what I don't remember if it was last week or 2 weeks ago, where I was like, hey, there's no more limitations. You can anything you can think of, you can do on a console now, like with the new consoles. But kind of that's also a problem in the other way, because they don't have these problems that they're trying to work around and get things to work right with what they want to do. Sounds weird, but I feel like some of those, because there's another example of something like that I just heard about. I think it was from like the NES or Super Nintendo era, where they're like, hey, we had this problem that we couldn't get around, so we did this instead, and that's how this ended up coming about. And it's like, oh, that's really cool. Or even you think about too, like back in the day with like Pokemon Gold and Silver, where like a lot is like, oh, let me add a whole fucking extra country here. Good day. Yeah, some of the stuff that they're able to kind of work around with that's pretty cool. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm not just saying that it was cool. I'm just saying it's more impressive than what we have nowadays. Because like, oh yeah, this looks hyper realistic. What's it made using? Oh, it's made using that engine. Oh, okay, that makes sense. But you see something like even thinking about like how they were able to do. I don't know if you ever saw the story of Crash Bandicoot on the PlayStation 1.
Yeah.
They had to. They had to like.
Yeah.
What?
Oh no, then I was kind of originally I was just kind of responding to your thought, and then I was kind of just circling back through. I'm like, oh yeah, I think I have seen a bit about how
they had to rewrite the code for the PlayStation 1 using the game on the fly. Mm-hmm. So that's super impressive. You don't have to do that anymore, You don't have to literally rewrite the code of the console you're using in order to have your game playable. And that's why it's like, okay, that's crazy that they did that. They went that length to get their game working, get their game running as well as it did. And then like nowadays it's like, yeah, well, our game's like 200 gigabytes and it's going to run like ass. It's like, okay, well, you have every opportunity to not have that happen, and you still didn't make the effort. It feels in some cases like just pure laziness.
Well, and most of the time,
incompetency.
I mean, a lot of the issues that we talk about in games, a lot of times, it really is just like, hey, we didn't feel like optimizing this because the platforms are so powerful now, so we don't have to. Whereas if they took the time to kind of boil it down, it'd be better running, better optimized, better frame rates, probably able to put out better graphics.
And also, like, think about, like, GTA 6, for instance, coming out, right? Like, that thing's going to look incredible and everything, and it's supposed to only run at 30 FPS, and it's like, well, that's That's kind of shit, you know.
Mm-hmm. Hey, they're already in crunch time already. I don't know if you saw that rumor.
I did see that they're having to do things that should take like months in like weeks, like
Mm-hmm.
2 week periods of time instead of the like 2 months that they need. That also just worries me because like, why are you in crunch time and why did it take you this long to get into crunch time? Why are you even having crunch time after taking this long? Like, what did you do?
Well, I mean, really, so this is what it says to me. I mean, generally crunch time is like
It says
right before.
mismanagement. That's what it feels like.
Well, I mean that usually always is, but really what it's saying is like they whatever deadline they have set for this game, it is a hard deadline now. They're not exceeding it, which is why they have switched to crunch. But generally crunch should be, I mean realistically the way that it should be if it has to happen, it should be like, "Hey, we're launching in 3 weeks, but we need this shit to get done before we can launch." Not like, "Hey, we're launching in 6 months. We need this stuff done before then." Like it's if you're doing crunch time 6 months out, it basically means the game should probably be delayed a year.
Yeah,
Because you're like
exactly.
you're asking them to
Exactly.
do double work in half the time. Uh, yeah. So I don't know. I mean, the person who posted it, I looked, kind of the thing. They're a QA person, so maybe they don't, maybe their workload's a little different, but that's still a lot to ask. And I imagine if they are, other people are probably too. So I feel bad for those employees there because they're not going to see their families basically until Christmas at this point, which is shitty. Um, and companies should not
Yep.
be doing this anymore.
This shouldn't be the normal. This shouldn't be happening. We just talked about how much, how advanced everything is now. And then
Mhm.
we're like, but then we still have these old problems.
Yeah. Yep.
And
Yeah,
they're
exactly.
worse. They're
Hmm.
worse. So like, man, the mismanagement of these companies is someone's going to make a documentary on it and it's going to be impressive how stupid some of these companies are.
Oh, I'm sure. I don't know. It always does make me just kind of appreciate just the randomness of Nintendo, where they're like, "Hey, here's this finished game we've been sitting on for 3 years and haven't told you anything about, and it's out tomorrow." I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. Um, but I mean, I know those are few and far between, but yeah, I mean, really, the industry should treat their employees better because at the end of the day, if you didn't have those employees, you would have no game. So and they would be really hurting if they did something about it on their end of things.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. Anyways, what else do you got to talk about?
Nothing. Honestly, I
Okay.
don't have anything else I want to really talk about. I just needed to needed to rant about, um, about Grand Theft Auto 6 and their random mismanagement again. What they like to
Mhm.
do every week, apparently.
Yeah, I have one news thing. Well, it's
Yeah,
not
let's
really
hear it.
news. It's rumors. I posted this in the group chat, but you guys never said anything about it. But there's a rumor that Nintendo has some big changes coming to the Nintendo Music app, and I thought this was really cool.
Oh, okay, yeah, this. I forgot about this.
Yeah, so apparently Nintendo's looking to supposedly integrate the Nintendo Music app more with your game history. Um, so all the stuff that, and if you don't think that game companies are doing this, you're delusional. But all the stuff that they are tracking you doing on your game, which is usually like, what bosses you completed, what you go, where you spend most of your time, they're going to feed that
It's
information into
literally why
Nintendo Music.
achievements exist, not because
Exactly. Yeah.
the cool little gamer score thing. No, they want to have data on how far someone plays in something, so they
Yeah, or
can
where people get
adjust
stuck.
things
Oh,
accordingly.
only 50%
Exactly.
of the people got through this part. Like that's even how I look at it when I look at achievements too. Be like, okay, well, only 20% of the people actually finished this game.
Yep.
Um, so I mean, I think it's pretty cool, and I think it's actually a really interesting use of this data. I mean, usually it's kind of more like they're trying to sell you stuff. In this case, they're like, hey, you know what, you can, you spent a lot of time on this boss. Maybe you really like this song, or maybe it's relevant to you, or this is stuff that you've experienced, and you've played it. You're going to be familiar with this stuff. I think that's really cool stuff, and especially for me with the music
I think
stuff,
it's
I think it's great.
I think it's an
So
interesting idea. I think it's a little weird, but I do like the idea of it.
yeah, I mean, we'll have to see a if they actually implement it, and b kind of what they end up doing with it.
I just think it would be like weird if, like, for instance, I'm stuck on a boss that's pissing me off, and then I boot up the Nintendo store or something because I'm thinking of buying another game, and just the music from that fucking boss is playing randomly. That would be really funny. I'd be like, motherfucker.
I mean, I think that would almost be a feature. Be like, hey, don't you want to go through and finish your game? Da, 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 da. Like, yeah. I mean, who knows? I mean, who knows how they'll use it? Who knows what kind of things they'll use it for? But yeah, I mean, I do think it's interesting, and I think it's kind of a neat way to make that app a little bit more interesting than just kind of like a
no. I do agree in that like I agree with that. I agree with what you're saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so
but it also feels a little dystopian. That's all I'm saying. A little bit. It's a little Black Mirror-y. I don't know.
Oh, it all depends on how you use it. It all depends on if you use it too. You know, I think it'd be creepier if it was like, you know, Spotify or, you know, like one of your normal music apps.
Yeah, you just turn on Spotify and the fucking boss theme is playing automatically. Yeah. And you're like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like what is going on here? Where's my real music? But you know, for something like this where it's more like, you know, a video game specific music app, you know, you can tailor those things more to what you play and what you like and what you know.
No, I get that. I get that. Yeah. I think that's cool. I just think you know, I always say this, right? The industry loves to copy each other. And if the wrong part of the industry copies something like this in a way that's more in line with what we were talking about, it being more dystopian and weird, that could be very odd. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I really don't. I mean, what is the worst thing that they could do with this?
Advertising to you the song instead of an ad from something that you haven't finished to try to push you to go finish it. I think that's something that can happen. Because you said, like, if it was like Spotify, for instance. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if a different part of the industry did something like that, you know? Or they tried to push you to a game that just got DLC by having an ad, you know, given to you via something like Spotify for a game that you've played, and they're like, oh yeah, here's the DLC for it and everything. And like, it knows you've played it. That feels a little weird and manipulative. Like, yeah, you're gonna buy the DLC eventually, right? You're gonna buy the DLC eventually. You're interested in the game, but to have that like shoved in your face because of your playing habits, that could be a little weird and dystopian. That's what I'm saying. Like, I mean, if the wrong person gets a hold of it, that's when it's a problem. I'm not saying Nintendo doing it's a problem right now.
But I mean, I really don't even think that's that big of an issue, even kind of what you describe. Because I mean, you think about something like, you know, when Nintendo put out, say, Kirby Air Riders, the preview and then the game. They did 2 special releases of that music. Like, I mean, it wasn't obviously specifically targeted towards me. It was for everyone. Correct.
That's what I'm saying. If it was a specific target towards you based off of your playing habits. Like, for instance, you know, PlayStation's going to have people have to put in their IDs and their information and stuff in order to even be able to chat soon. That's like a new rule that they have that's coming out. That's fucking crazy to me. But also, that's more information they have on you, and that's more information that they could use to manipulate you in some form or fashion outside of just playing your PlayStation games. You understand? Like,
yeah, but in the music sense, though, like, if you played, say, I don't know. I'll keep it with Nintendo. Say Donkey Kong Bonanza, because I know they had DLC.
Yeah.
You play Donkey Kong Bonanza, and then down the road they're like, "Hey, here's music from the DLC." Who cares? Like, you already played the base game. It knows that. It's probably just giving you that information because you played it, not necessarily to sell the DLC. And is the music really going to sell you on the DLC anyways?
I wasn't specifically talking about. Okay, so let me try to see if I can formulate this better. I was thinking, right? Nintendo, what they're doing is not harmful right now. What could be done by other companies, which could be using the same kind of technology for targeted ads, could be harmful. Not specifically targeted music, targeted ads. That's what I'm saying.
You're saying taking the information from the game and using it for ads. Correct. Okay, that's why I'm confused. I'm talking specifically about music.
No, I'm saying if another company did something along this line, but did it to target ads towards you instead.
But they
for
already do
something that
that.
they do, but they don't do it in the same way. I don't know if I can make that.
Do they? Like, I don't know. I
Yes.
get emails from Nintendo like once a month, and they're like, "Hey, here's the games that you played. Here's the games we think you might like." Like, I mean, everyone does that. Like, it's not really anything
So
different unless you're thinking something more.
yes, because I brought up specifically Spotify, as you might remember, right? So
Yeah.
let's say like you've been playing a game, right? Or you've been
Mm-hmm.
playing a type of game. They know that you play that type of game because of your hours, because of the information they've got, because of the information that you've given them and everything. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not so I was saying take the thing that Nintendo's doing where they send you targeted music, right? But
Mm-hmm.
make that a targeted ad, and not maybe specifically for the game you're playing, but maybe for another one to try to influence you. Because when you see a lot of things, you're either going to be like, hey, I should play that, or I should do that. But like, have it come through in something where you normally wouldn't, like your Spotify, for instance, which was my example that I was giving. Because when I go to Spotify, I'm expecting to get music stuff, but let's say there's some kind of partnership between Sony or whatever, because they've partnered with every fucking thing under the sun. For instance,
Yeah.
they own a large portion of all entertainment industry, so they are able to then influence you in other ways to push you towards some other product using something that's completely out of the realm of gaming. That's what I'm saying. So, like, if they were to target you with some form of advertisement for something that you've been doing gameplay wise, not for the game that you're playing, but say maybe like the genre of game. So maybe it's like a game that would be in that sort of genre that they know that you would like because you've played a lot of roguelikes or for something to that degree. And then you get an ad when you're just listening to something like, I don't know, like the new Gorillaz album, like I was listening to a few weeks back, and I get an ad in Spotify for some game that I haven't heard of and everything, but they're doing it based off the information I've already given PlayStation or any other company in this case. You get ads for popular things all the time on Spotify, on YouTube, on yada yada yada, blah blah blah. You get those things, but if you get things that are specifically tailored for you, that's a little bit more concerning because that's a little bit easier to manipulate you into maybe purchasing something that you wouldn't have otherwise at that moment in time. A way to kind of push people away from those sales that you were talking about before, to give them that FOMO by having that thing continuously thrust into their face outside of the realm of where they would normally be seeing it. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm saying could be potentially dystopian and potentially very harmful if it were to be they were to follow the wrong idea from what Nintendo is doing. Does that make sense, what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying a lot more in that regard, and that makes a little bit more sense. So, like I said, I was thinking about it purely in the context of the music
Yeah,
app,
and I
so
get
I
that.
wasn't really thinking of that. But yeah, I mean, I definitely could see it, and it really, I mean, just like anything, But
Yeah,
you already see stuff like what you're describing with, say, like Facebook, where people are always
you
like, I
do.
talk about
Absolutely.
something and ads show up about it. I mean, yeah, those things definitely already kind of exist, and I agree. You don't need it more widespread than it already is.
Hmm.
So, yeah, no,
Like, I
that
don't
makes
want to
sense.
turn on my earbuds and then instantly hear an ad for Sony's new roguelike game that's coming out. Like, I've already bought Saros, and you've seen
Yeah.
that I've bought
Well, I
Saros,
mean, you'll turn
and
on
that's
those kind of
fine.
things, and you'll get ads for those. I mean, that's reasonable. Like, I mean, I
Not
turn on.
the second I turn on my earbuds or my headset or my Spotify. Like, normally, it takes a little while for something like that. Also, I don't really get ads for video games ever on something like Spotify. I don't know. It's
YouTube, I
not
get them
really a
on a
normal
lot.
thing.
That's where I can see them the most.
You're gonna
Um,
see them on YouTube and you're gonna see them on Twitch because predominantly YouTube and Twitch are focused on video games in the
yeah.
first place. But
Hmm.
most of the time, you see it for games that are popular, that are important, that just came out from a big title. But let's say like you see it from anything like that. That's when it gets a little weird.
Yeah. Yeah. It's about the context of where you see it.
Hmm.
Yeah. No, I agree. But I should get a fucking shit ton of Pokopia ads. I'm like,
Nice.
Jesus, I already own this game. Go away.
Well, that game
Gets
is
good.
massive. That game actually sold people on Switch too. A lot of people ended up going out and buying Switch 2s because of Pokopia. There was a literal, like, not rumor, but a meme going around where it was just the front cover of Pokopia, but the text changed and just said, "I don't want to spend $500 to play this game, but I will.
Yeah.
And it's like...
Yeah, and definitely. I even saw a post on Reddit today where someone's like, "Hey, I don't like Animal Crossing, but I want to buy a Switch 2 for Pocopia."
Yep.
It's like, okay, yeah, yeah, that game's got legs, and I would not be surprised if we don't see some massive update on that game later this year.
I agree. I think that game, if it's handled well, could be on the same level as something like your Animal Crossings.
Oh yeah. Although I honestly don't even think they really handled Animal Crossing's DLC very well. So hopefully they do better with Pocopia.
And then Nintendo's not good at handling DLC, period. That's just a fact.
Yeah, and I feel like I just was tempted to go down a rabbit hole there, but I don't want to.
Handling updates, though, like free updates that come out when it's not like a big, huge paid thing. They're good at getting the word out via people just being like, hey, this is a cool thing, and then word of mouth kind of spreads a lot of Nintendo games, to be honest. It did it with Pocopia, because a lot of people were just like, whatever, and then the game released, everyone was like, wait, this is actually, like, really good, what the hell? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I think we talked about before Pocopia came out, like I think they drastically undersold that game, if anything.
They did, absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. And then once people are out,
now you can't even find, like, I say physical in bunny ear quotes, but now you can't even find, like, physical copies of that game anywhere.
Yeah, that one actually is a bunny quotes one, because that one is a game key card.
It is a game key card. That's why I did the bunny quotes. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm sure there's probably some more to explore DLC wise. But that's not a topic for today. But otherwise, that's all I got.
Yeah, I ain't got anything else either, to be honest. I think I'm good.
All right. All right, let's wrap up then.
All right, sounds good.
All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening to us tonight. Don't forget you can find us on iTunes, Stitcher, Google, Amazon, YouTube, wherever you get your podcasts. Game-crunch.com has all of our old episodes. And if you want to reach out to us, gamecrunchcast@gmail.com. Brandon.
Hi.
Any final thoughts?
No, I'm good.
Okay. That said, my name is Mike Anastasia. Buy me online on Clash of Penguin there or on your favorite gaming console. And until next week, game on.
Game on.
Booting up the dream again, screen glow on my sleepy face. A little town of Pocopia, loading like a saving grace. You were there in the starter grass, laughing when I tripped and fell. Said if we're gonna catch 'em all, we better learn to catch ourselves. Game on in Pocopia, hearts up. We don't power down, every loss another story, another chance to turn it around. Game on in Pocopia, side by side until we're strong. If the world tries to reset us, we just press start and carry on. Game on, game on, game on, hey, trading secrets on the couch, cable cords in a tangled knot. You named your first one after me, said it made you miss a shot. Every badge a tiny spark, pinned inside a dusty case. But the brightest little victory was seeing you light up that place. Game on in Pocopia, hearts up. We don't power down, every loss another story, another chance to turn it around. Game on in Pocopia, side by side until we're strong. If the world tries to reset us, we just press start and carry on. Game on, game on, game on, oh. Someday when the servers sleep and our old accounts are gone, I'll still hear your battle cry in every quiet dawn. Because we leveled up in love past every glitch and storm. You turned a simple little map into a living, breathing world. Game on in Pocopia, hearts up. We don't power down, every loss another story, another chance to turn it around. Game on in Pocopia, side by side we're holding strong. If the ending screen is waiting, we'll press continue one more road.
spoiler alert.
I gotta be
they're not.
honest, I know this had to be Sony's doing because House Marquee is really good and has never done anything like that ever. In fact, they barely even have plot lines in their games. They feel very vague on purpose and deal more with mechanics. So I feel like whoever the writer that Sony brought on is the one that wrote this, is the one that injected this bullshit, and I'm just like, why did we do this?
Sony's got like, oh, I got a great storyline for you for this new game.
Yeah. and then they were probably like, excuse me, what the fuck? And then they were like, yeah, you're gonna do it, or else we'll find someone else to do it. Do you want to be on the chopping block next? That's how I feel like happened.
I mean, it is just there had to be something there.
There had to be something, because I've played every House Marquee game, and every House Marquee game doesn't really have a plot, or if it does, it's very vague, very much about, like, you know, overcoming struggles or something like that, like with Returnal, that sort of deal. You know, breaking a loop, do something like that. You know, something simple, but done in a very abstract and interesting way. This feels like it's trying to do like an actual like soap opera like plot, and it is a mess, and I do not like it. So that's why I said and alluded to earlier that like this game can only go down, not up. And I think now that I've explained, you probably understand why.
So then you find, I don't know, there's lots of directions this plot could go. I don't know, I think it's going to keep going up and up, up and up. Explore all those deep holes that they got going on.
It just doesn't make any sense. I just don't get it. What were they thinking?
Anyway, I mean, I don't know. I mean, maybe they're kind of like, hey, this hasn't been done in games before. Well, you know, any news is good news. People get people talking about the game.
Yeah, it probably hasn't been done for a fucking reason. Like, come on, man.